Shalom, 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 shalom. Let me check the stream right quick. Shalom, shalom. Check the screen. Make sure I'm live. All right. We'll call to Wab. Shalom, 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 shalom. First and foremost, giving infinite praises, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, by Hasham, Yahawashi, by Hasham, qadash, and giving double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom and salutation to all his sincere Akim across the four winds, pushing his truth with sincerity of heart. I'm your fellow servant, Kasama God from the DC camp, coming at you through the spirit and power of Yahawah, by Hasham, Yahawashi, by Hasham, qadash, and feed the elect. Now, Lord wanted this to be a quick exhortation, straight to the point. I know sometimes you say that and then you end up, it ends up being an hour and 45, but I'm gonna try to really go straight to the point, quickly talk about this because it's one of the lessons that I had, one of the titles that I had put on my notes to talk about, put a lesson. And really it's about the way that Satan moves, all right? You have to kind of be aware of your enemy, the spiritual demon, Satan. Always know the factors, how he moves. All right. Now it's the way he comes out, the way Satan comes at you, it looks different, right? It doesn't always look the same, right? You can't talk to a brother and be like, well, because he came to me this way, he's going to come at you that way. All right. Satan comes at you from multiple angles. And so he's smarter than that, right? Satan is smarter than actually having running the same play. All right. So he might run the same concept. And that's what we're talking about, right? For brothers that do watch sports, I'm not talking about Satan running the same play, but Satan plays the same. He runs the same concept, if you know what I mean. So you can run different plays off of the same concept. Now, the concept is that Satan comes for your wealth, and then he comes for your health. It's kind of like if you're into football, he starts with the running game, right? He sets up the big pass, right? The bomb, basically, right? The deep ball. So he comes with a run, like, just like a football, you run the ball so you can set set up a play action and then go deep, basically. So again, that's just reference for brothers that watch sports, but the concept that he does is usually similar. Different plays, but same concept. He will come for your wealth, and then he will, part two, he will come for your health. All right. And if you look around everything that's been going on with you and your personal growth and personal journey in this gospel, you would see that it always comes down to those two things, right? It always comes down to your wealth and then your health. And then after that, sometimes you'll flip it. He'll come after your health, which in turn would affect your wealth because both of them are linked. Your wealth and your health are linked. All right. If you're not healthy, it's kind of hard to make money. If you can't make really good money, it's kind of hard to be healthy. Gym memberships and all these different things, eating right costs money. So Satan runs the same concept, but different plays. Now, health and wealth, it says wealth and health are deeply intertwined, which they are, as I've just explained. Wealth and health are deeply intertwined, as higher wealth directly enables better health outcomes through access to quality care. All right, reduce stress and healthier lifestyles. Okay, and we always promote in Great Millstone, beginning with our apostles and elders. We promote a healthier lifestyle. But then you're gonna find out is moments that I don't care what you eat, I don't care how great you eat. When Satan gets the green light to come after your health, you can do everything that you think that you can do, but you're gonna get hurt. And then when you get hurt, when your health gets hurt, it's also gonna affect your wealth. And then you really, then you end up in a conundrum. You end up behind the eight ball. So that's how Satan moves. It says, while good health is the foundation for productivity, right? Health and accumulating wealth. Conversely, poor health can drain financial resources. I mean, and I'll speak from experience. I haven't really, I've never really had like great wealth. I mean, just enough to get by. But I've always been a person personally that, taking care of my health to the best of my ability. It's always been something that I really care for. because I know I can't really do this work that I want to do, because you unhealthy, you're sloppy, um, with your body. It kind of, it messes everything up. So I always try to take care of that. And I've noticed that, okay, I would be like, well, you know what, Satan, you're not going to fuck with me, with health or with wealth because I don't have much. But then he'll be like, okay, well, shit, I'm going to come at you, on the health department. You know what I'm saying? And he'll put you behind the eight ball, and then that affects how you make your money because you become unhealthy, not because you didn't try to eat right. It's just that it was a moment of trial and tribulation, and some way, somehow, you're going to get hurt. You're going to get hurt. Your wealth and your health are going to get hurt. I don't care what you do out here, man. It's just a matter of time, and it's been happening. You just got to pay attention. So I'm just exposing Satan's concept. All right. It says poor health can drain financial resources, and lack of wealth limits access to preventive cares. All right. See, man, listen, this is even me personally, recently, I just went through something like that. And it was really some trying times. I'm not gonna go into details, but it made me realize how wealth and health are so intertwined. Like, it's hard to have one without having the other. And wealth doesn't necessarily mean being super rich, right? But it's hard. You can't take care of yourself, with no money. You can't get access to certain things, insurance and all these different things. It's just really intertwined. And Satan knows that very well, in this society, primarily in this society. So he's definitely gonna come at you. And your wealth could be not only your job, it could be on your children, right? 'Cause that's part of your wealth. We're gonna get into that. This is the connection between wealth and health. It says access and resources. Wealthy individuals have better access to nutritious food, safe environments, quality healthcare, and health insurance, which leads to lower rates of chronic disease. Lower stress. All right, so you lower stress when you have wealth and health. It says lower stress, financial security reduces stress, which is a major factor in cardiovascular health and mental well-being. See, one of the reasons why the nation of Israel, so-called Negroes, Hispanics, Native Americans, one of the reasons why we're hurt so bad, part of the curses, if you really reread Deuteronomy 28, is really about the Lord putting stress on our wealth and stress. Removing our wealth, which is, first of all, like our land, our children, not having any type of unity as far as like commerce, and then affecting our health. Multiple curses talk about all the diseases. So not only will you be broke and poor, you're also going to be unhealthy, and so therefore you don't have access to basic things. And that's why the nation of Israel just looks, we're the number one as far as like bad, horrible health and horrible wealth, right? That's what makes you a cursed people, when you got that combination, that dark cloud of horrible wealth and horrible health. And then it happens on an individual basis. So now we're talking about us as, brothers in this gospel, Israelites in general, because also sisters, y'all Israelites too, you go through that. All right. Yeah, women deal with all kinds of health issues. And the amount of money sometimes that women have to dish out just for their health is crazy. It's out of this world. So, you just have to understand how it works. It says improved longevity. People with greater wealth tend to live longer and have better functional status throughout their lives. Positive feedback loop. Being healthy allows individuals to work. You see that? Being healthy allows individuals to work, earn income, and build wealth, while having wealth allows them to maintain their health. You see that? So it's intertwined. And Satan knows that. All right. So that's why, again, Satan will run different plays, right? He will run different plays. So a brother's story might not be necessarily the same as yours step by step, but it's the same concept. Either Satan is coming at you through your wealth or your health. All right. And everything that you do, everything that you are falls within those parameters, your wealth and your health, spiritual, mental, and physical. All right. So now let's get the story, the famous story. Of course, you know where we're going with this. The renowned Job, the man who got absolutely taken to the cleaners with his wealth and his his health. Job chapter 1, verse 1, Job's character and wealth. It says, and that's the main thing. The reason why your wealth and your health will be affected, again, regardless of what you're doing, regardless of how well you eat and how disciplined you are with your finances. The time is going to come where Satan's going to get the green light, and you're going to get that work. And the reason why the reason why you're getting that work is for what? Character building. All right. To assess the level of faith in which you win. So the Lord will let you accumulate things. That's why you can never get too attached, man. The Lord will let you accumulate things, and then Satan will come in and try to take those things away, and the Lord will give him the green light. So just to assess, your level of faith, your current level of faith. Job 1:1. There was a man in the land of Uz whose name was Job, and that man was perfect and upright, and one that feareth the Most High and eschewed evil. And there were born unto him 7 sons and 3 daughters. His substance, there you go, his wealth. All right, now it's going into his wealth. His substance also was 7,000 sheep, 3,000 camels, and 500 yokes of oxen, and 500 she asses in a very great household. So that this man was the greatest of all the men of the East. All right. So it says great household. So the wealth also includes women, children, servants, slaves, all of that. That's part of your wealth. All right. Now, verse 4, and his sons went and feasted in their houses, everyone his day, and sent and called for their 3 sisters to eat and to drink with them. And it was so, when the days of their feasting were gone about, that Job sent and sanctified them, and rose up early in the morning and offered burnt offerings according to the number of them all. For Job said, it may be that my sons have sinned and cursed the Most High in their hearts. Thus did Job continually. So his sons, his part of his wealth, they were always feasting out there, you know what I'm saying? But Job knew, right? He knew that his sons and daughters didn't have the faith. They were not, they were not upright like he was. So he was trying to cover them by offering sacrifices, which it worked up until it didn't. Because as an adult, it's an adult Israelite, you have to cover. At some point, you become an adult, you have to offer your own sacrifices to cover your sins. And when Job started to do this, he continued to do that. That was a sign, a weakness. Satan saw that, and he was like, "Okay, well, I see what your weakness is. Right? It's your wealth. You care. You don't want to lose them. So therefore, if I'm able to plot and have you lose your wealth, I believe that I can flip you." That was Satan, right? Now that was his that's his thing. Right? Let's go. It says verse 6. It says, now there was a day when the sons of God came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came also among them, meaning the angels arrived to present themselves as always, and then Satan, he popped up, right? He made an appearance. Verse 7, and the Lord said unto Satan, whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro in the earth, and from walking up and down in it. That is figuratively, spiritually, and literally. Satan he does walk around, and you're just not aware. You have to, there's a lot of spiritual things that happen. Angels walk, demons walk, all these things happen. It's just you're not aware of it. Just because you're not aware doesn't mean that it's not happening. It's been happening since the beginning of times. Satan has been going around destroying people's lives since the beginning. He's a master at destroying people. That's why you cannot take Satan, lightly. He's been destroying people for ages. Job 1:8, it says, and the Lord said unto Satan, and the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and upright man, one that feareth the Most High and escheweth evil. Perfect and upright means he had faith, right? It doesn't mean that he kept all the laws, statutes, commandments perfectly. It just meant that when he broke the laws, he repented, offered sacrifice, and kept it moving. And most importantly, he had faith. Verse 9, then Satan answered the Lord and said, doth Job fear the Most High for nothing? Meaning, does he believe, does he fear for nothing, without a reason? Has not thou made an hedge about him and about his house and about all that he has on every side? Thou hast blessed the work of his hands, and his substance, again, wealth, see? Satan is always running the same concept. He's running the same concept, wealth, and then of course chapter 2 we're going to go into the health. But first he's going to come after your wealth. So he keeps talking about substance. He's talking about your wealth. All right, that's why brothers have difficulties with jobs, difficulties with making money. You make money, you lose money. Every time you take 3 steps back, it's like you taking 3 steps forward. It's like you always take 4 steps back. Always tittering, right? Like your account could go from black to a minute to all of a sudden it's on a negative, right? And then you're behind the 8 ball. That is Satan constantly doing that. All right, constantly doing that. It says, let's see, verse 11. But put forth thine hand, and now, meaning touch him, right, and touch all that he has, right, and he will curse thee to thy face. So take his wealth. So now he's running. Satan is he's running the ball right now. It's like he's running the ball right now, and the reason why he's running the ball because it's effective. It's effective. All right. So verse 12, and the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he has is in thy power. So the heavenly Father, Yahawah, gave Satan a green light. All right, it says, only upon him put not forth thine hand, meaning take his wealth, but don't touch his health. All right. But why is it that Satan is going after the wealth first? Because it's the easiest things. It's the easier thing to give up. It's the easiest thing to kind of let go. Right. Even for myself, I know that because, I made these decisions. It's clearly I could just look at, okay, wealth or health, which one will be the easiest thing to not really worry about. And it was easier for me to make that decision. Be like, oh, you're clearly wealth. You know what I'm saying? Like, I'm not going to do anything and lose, lose grip on the gospel for the pursuit of wealth. So it's easier to kind of look at wealth and be, all right, I don't need to be rich. I'm cool. I'm just enough to get by. So Satan has to take that. That's the easier one to go after. Job 1 and 11. Salaki. But put forth thine hand now and touch all that he has, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, all that he has is in thy power, only upon himself put not forth thine hand. So Satan went forth from the presence of the Lord. All right. Subtitle: Satan allowed to test Job. Allowed to test Job. That's what happens. And there was a day when his sons and his daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And there came a messenger to Job and said, the oxen were plowing and the asses feeding besides them, and the Sabians fell upon them and took them away. Yea, they have slain the servants with the edge of the sword. That's wealth gone, right? The slaves are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the fire of God is fallen from heaven and has burned up the sheep. There you go. Another, it's like you say, hey, it's like, hey, did you lose your job? Now, how you gonna pay your mortgage? Right? How you gonna pay your mortgage? How you gonna take care of your family? All right. It says, and consume them, and it says, and I am only escaped alone to tell thee. All right. It says, while he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, the Chaldeans made out 3 bands and fell upon the camels and have carried them away, yea, and slain the servants with the edge of the sword. So the dominoes are falling, right? Wealth is crumbling by the second. These guys are pulling up by the second. So you can only imagine what Job was going through and in his heart. All right. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee. While he was yet speaking, there came also another and said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine and in their eldest brother's house. Now, this was the big one. This is the big one when it came to his wealth, because all those other things was all right, cool. I lost that, cool. But this the one that really got him. All right. It says, while he was yet speaking, there came also another said, thy sons and thy daughters were eating and drinking wine in their eldest brother's house. And behold, there came a great wind from the wilderness and smote the 4 corners of the house, and it fell upon the young men, and they are dead. And I only am escaped alone to tell thee, right? So that's when you start to see a pattern. These are plays that are being run, all right? So Satan is running the play on the left. He's running the play on the right. He's running the play in the middle, Like he just got you completely just combat, like, you just reactive. Again, for brothers that kind of know sports, know what I'm talking about. You on defense, you just reacting to what Satan is doing to you. The dominoes are falling. You know what I'm saying? You're losing your job. Your car breaks down. You know what I'm saying? Like now, like your wife, all of a sudden, that's it. It's a trickle down. It trickles down to your woman's mind, and now she's contemplating leaving you, and you just behind the eight ball, man, really bad. Um, Now verse 20, then Job arose and rent his mental, so he just lost it, and shaved his head and fell down upon the ground and worshiped, right? And said, naked came out of my mother's womb, and naked shall I return to the Lord gave, and the Lord has taken away. Blessed be the name of the Lord. Hey, listen. And in all this, Job sinned not, nor charged the Most High foolishly, right? Because it's easy. Most people, when these things happen, they flip and they start going off on the Most High, basically, right? Because the Lord did allow that to happen. So you were like, well, why would you allow like pain and death and hurt to happen to me? Like, but that is the thing. That's why you must understand the Lord, so you don't get emotionally caught up, right? You have to understand there's a reason why he's allowing this level of pain, right, to fall upon you. Is it easy? Nah. Because let's look up on the word wealth, right? Wealth, which is the first thing that got taken away. What got taken away from Job in chapter 1? It says wealth, the state of condition of happiness. So his happiness was fucked up. All right. His happiness was gone. Well-being, joy, all right. It says valuable material possessions, all gone. Prosperity and abundance, well-being, all right. That's what he got, his happiness, his state of condition of happiness, he got absolutely wrecked. And that's how Satan runs, that's how he runs his plays, man. All right. Oh, it goes back to will. Wow, okay. The root word is will, state of being well or prosperous. Wealth, worldly riches, right? Worldly riches. All right, worldly riches, your welfare, well-being, prosperity, good fortune. All right, the wish and will. So, yeah, man. So that's what happened. So now let's jump quickly to the next chapter. Now he loses what? Job loses his health. As you can see, it's a concept, right? It's a concept, and like I said, Satan runs the same concept, just different plays. As long as you know the concept, you're never gonna fully be lost in the sauce. You just be like, okay, he's either coming after my wealth or he's coming after my health, or he may be coming after both. But I know the concept. I don't know the play, but I know the concept. So now you can put a defensive game, which we already know what that is, faith. Right? I'm already spoiling it. You call your defensive game plan. You call your play called faith. And that's your play. That's your coverage. All right. That's your coverage right there. Your coverage for this offensive, bombardment is called faith. All right. Now, I know an actual defensive coordinator will be like, what the hell is called faith? Like that's why it's only for the men of the Lord. Job 2:1, it says, Job loses his health. All right, it says, again, there was a day when the sons of the Most High came to present themselves before the Lord, and Satan came along among them to present himself before the Lord. And the Lord said unto Satan, from whence comest thou? And Satan answered the Lord and said, from going to and fro into the earth and from walking up and down in it. So Satan constantly will always do that. He'll show up. I told brothers, man, listen, when you start going through shit, man, just know, man, Satan pulled up, man. He has your name because he pulls up with a list of names, bro. Like he pulls up with a list of names and the game plans. He gonna run on you, and he's just saying names, and the Most High because the Most High already know. The Most High already know what he's Satan doing. He's already giving them, he's making them think that he really doing something out here. But Lord already knows what he's coming to do, what he's coming to present. And the Lord is going to give him the green light because the Lord is the one who manufactures all of this stuff. This theater, right? The orchestrator of the theater is the Heavenly Father Yahawah, so he knows what's going on. All right. Verse 3, it says, and the Lord said unto Satan, hast thou considered my servant Job, that there is none like him in the earth, a perfect and an upright man, one that feareth the Most High, and escheweth evil, and still he holdeth fast his integrity, although thou movest me against him to destroy him without cause. And this is something I just, thought about. When Satan showed up, it tells you that the Lord said unto Satan. So when Satan showed up, he, he didn't even, he probably didn't even have Job in the top of his list at the moment. But see, that's when you understand, man, like it's the Lord that allows this stuff to build your character. Because the Lord reminded Satan, like, hey, what about Job? Satan was about like, Satan probably had, because Satan always got a list of people he gonna destroy. So it's like, yeah, Job, yeah, what about Job? So the Lord wanted Satan to remember, he wanted this thing to be about Job. So you have to understand, man, this is how it goes, right? Right? It ain't really about Satan like that. Like the Lord is always watching over you, and he always knows that, half a trial ain't gonna cut it. You got to go through the whole trial. All right. So, all right. Yeah, he still holding his integrity, though that moves me against him, destroying without cause. Verse 4. And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin. All right. So Satan now he's talking about, all right, man, we're gonna deal with the passing game, right? We ran the game on him. He's down bad, so he's probably gonna want blitz, play action. We're going over the top. It's personal. All right, it's personal. We're gonna make it personal. That's what Satan is thinking. We're gonna make it personal. And Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man has will he give for his life. All right, so Satan will come after your health without a doubt. After your wealth, he's gonna come after your health. It says, but put thine hand, it's like, and Satan answered the Lord and said, skin for skin, yea, all that a man has will he give for his life. But put forth thine hand and now and touch his bone and his flesh, which you will get hurt. Listen, man, this truth is so similar to football too. That's crazy. This truth is a 100% injury. I think there's a terminology in football, like playing football is like 100% injury prone, meaning like you will get injured. It's not a matter of if, it's a matter of when. And I'm talking about you're going to be injured spiritually, mentally, and physically. You cannot be in this truth, this whole journey, and at no point physically you didn't get fucked up. You know what I'm saying? You didn't get touched. And it's not just going to happen one time. You're going to be hurt. All right, you're going to be hurt. Your health is going to be hurt at some point, multiple times, some more than others. But just know that that's going to happen. All right, that's gonna happen. It doesn't matter if you're juicing and you in the gym every 6 days out of 8 days out of 7, and you eat all the best food and nah, bro. Job 25 says, to put forth thine hand now and touch his bone and his flesh, and he will curse thee to thy face. And the Lord said unto Satan, behold, he is in thine hand, but save his life. So went Satan forth from the presence of the Lord and smote Job with sore boils from the sole of his foot into his crown. And he took him a potsherd to scrape himself withal, and he sat down among the ashes. Then said his wife, of course, then said his wife unto him, dost thou still retain thine integrity? Curse the Most High and die, which, that is a feminine response, and we're not just going to put that on a woman. The reason why she said that is because that's what it means to be feminine. It's being feminine comes with a lack of faith. And the thing is, men can be feminine, right? Men have said this when they've got, attacked and went through trials and tribulations. They've cursed the Most High. So you can't just say, well, that's just a woman thing. The reason why the woman was used to the woman represents the feminine, which is the lack of faith, just confusion, instability, lack of accountability. It's just really the feminine essence. And a man and women, when you're in a feminine essence, these are the characteristics that you show. All right. I want to put that out there, so we understand that's not just a woman thing, it's a feminine thing. All right. So, and he said, of course, but he said unto her, thou speakest as one of foolish women speaketh. What shall we receive good at the hand of the Most High, and shall we not receive evil? And all of this did not Job sin with his lips. All right, so that's where we're going to stop, because the main point is that now that we know that now his health got attacked, all right, it says with wholeness, all right, and you better believe Job ate right. You better believe the man was rich. The man was wealthy. So you know he ate the best. He wasn't out there eating sloppy. Right? So yeah, he still got God. All right. Wholeness and being whole, sound, and well, uninjured. All right. So if you think you're gonna be in this truth and you're not at some point gonna be injured, where the injuries might actually affect your wealth, how you make your money, yeah, man. Again, you must understand what what you're a part of. You need to understand the opposition and how he runs his plays. How he, it's the same concept, different plays. Whole and uninjured, a good omen. All right, healthy, holy, sacred. All right, so you're gonna be unhealthy at times as parts of trials and tribulations. All right, you have brothers that have permanent health issues. Then brothers that have permanent wealth issues. Most of us have permanent wealth issues, and some of us have permanent health issues. And it rotates. So that's just what it is. It's a condition of the battle. But when you get overwhelmed and your wealth and your health are attacked, there's certain precepts. Only the word can help you. The faith in yahawah, and the words. These words can help you. So you got to run the proper play, which is faith in these words. Wisdom of Solomon 7:10, and it says, neither. I'm sorry, 8. It says, I preferred her, meaning wisdom. I preferred her before scepters and thrones, and esteemed riches nothing in comparison of her. Neither compared I unto her any precious stone, because all gold in respect of her is as a little sand. That's right. And silver shall be counted as clay before her, right? So we don't care about wealth like that, because Satan's going to take it away. So you got to rely and fall back, on the main thing, which is your faith and Yahawah in the gospel. I loved her above health and beauty, and chose to have her instead of light, for the light that cometh from her never goes out. All good things together came to me with her, and innumerable riches in her hands, right? Because the real riches is knowing that immortality is going to be ours, and we just got to continue to fight and continue to wait. All right, that is truly the answer. Trying to keep whatever's gone and all that, man, in this world, that is a fool's endeavor. You just trying to be as healthy as possible, just have a little bit of money to get by, but understand these things are going to be touched. All right. And the reason why is for the building of character. Wisdom of Solomon 16:12. For it was neither herb, right? For brothers that, oh man, you gotta eat right, get the herbs, and which again, it's not against that, man. We do that. Joel did that, right? And we gotta continue to do that. But when it's time for you to get touched, man, none of that is going to stop it. For it was neither herb nor mollifying plaster that restored them to health, but by the word, O Lord Yahawah, which healeth all things. All right, so that's what it comes down to. All right, that's what it comes down to. The more you get attached to the herb thing and all these super herbal, if you start to take pride in those things, Satan's gonna play a mean game on you, bro. You know what I'm saying? He's gonna play a mean game on you, bro. He's gonna show you that he can still touch you. So we must understand these things. For thou hast power of life and death that leadeth to the gates of hell and bringeth up again. Right, the hell and back, basically. That's where you get the terminology, the term, to hell and back. Yahawah would take you to hell and back. You lead you to the gates of hell, meaning you like, oh shit, I could really die. Like I'm on the edge. And then you play, your ace, which is the faith, and then you just see the whole game flip, right? And then you start to see the play. You start to recognize what's going on. You're like, oh, I see what you're doing, Satan. I see what you're doing. I see what you're doing. So you're no longer reactive to this to this spirit, to this entity of malice. You are proactive, right? You're like, I know what you're gonna do next. I know what you're gonna do next, and you most likely gonna be allowed to do that. It's probably gonna work, but it's not gonna hurt me because I know it's coming. Now, once you in that stage, it's over. The trial is almost at the end because at that time you recognize what's going on. You made the adjustments, and the trial is that's when the trial usually comes to an end and everything flips. 2 Corinthians 2:11, lest Satan should get an advantage of us, for we are not ignorant of his devices. All right, so that's what this exhortation is about. You know what I'm saying? We don't, we need to know how Satan runs his plays. And like I said, same concept, different plays. Your story might be different, but it's the same concept, just a different play. We're going to conclude with John 16:31. Yahawashi answered them, do ye now believe? Behold, the hour cometh, yea, is now come, that ye shall be scattered, every man to his own, and shall leave me alone, and yet I am not alone, because the Father is with me. So even Yahawashi went through that. His wealth, everything, his health, he got that work. All right. Verse 33, it says, these things have I spoken unto you, that in me ye might have peace. In the world ye shall have tribulation. But be of good cheer, I have overcome the world. So these are worldly things. And it's going to be multiple tribulations, but Yahawashi said he's overcome that. He's overcome the loss of wealth and health. And he says, hey, if you believe in him, we believe in him, we're also going to overcome the loss of wealth and health. All right, so that's basically what it is. So that's a lesson for the day. I wish I could read a lot of precepts. I know some beautiful precepts put up. You know what I'm saying? I wish I could read them, but running out of time, man. I gotta go to plantation. So hopefully you were edified as well as I was for the spirit and power. Yahawah Hashem, I'm like Yahawah Hashem, Yahawashi Hashem, qadash. All right, double honors to our apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and shalom and salutation to the sincere elect of Yasha Allah. Because I'm going from the DC camp. Shalom.